Good morning, college football fans, and welcome to the Blitz. We got another beautiful morning of Saturday football here for you. As you know, I got my host here with me today, Kevin, and we got Philip. How you boys doing today?
Good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys ready to knock out these games?
Yes, sir.
All right. So normally we just get on here, come straight do top 25 matchups, but a couple big games that happened recently, so we're gonna hit those up real fast. First one, obviously, Florida Bama. Um, My takeaway from that game is Florida can compete, yes, but our next game against Bama should be a W. What about you, Philip, as far as that Bama? I know we both said upset, so you obviously liked them that game, but what is your takeaway from that game?
It's a measuring stick with Florida versus Alabama, and they know they could go head to head with them, and it
Mm-hmm.
gives Florida more confidence next time they go to Alabama or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the site, and they can pull out a win. The next uh, game, we'll see a different quarterback. What do you think? Do you
Mm-hmm.
think they stick with the same game plan or?
I think we're gonna find out today. I wonder if they're gonna go back to. This is actually like I've really been wondering this. First two games, USF and FAU, we gave Anthony Richardson about 10 plays, almost 10 plays both of those games. So I wonder. I know they're not going to bench Emory after losing 2 points to Bama. You don't bench somebody that loses 2 points to Bama.
Right.
But do they go back to that? Do they go back to give Anthony Richardson his 10 plays and let Emory do his thing? But the whole problem with that was Emory felt like, or a lot of people felt like Emory couldn't get going, because he's got somebody coming in replacing him every 3 series. So I'm interested to see what Mullen does about his quarterback approach here. I think that tells a lot about the season. If he did stick it out with Emory and say Emory's the starter for the year, go. Honestly, I say that's what we got to do. He gave us a really good shot against Bama, and maybe A.R. Richardson does better. Maybe he does, but we got him for 3-4 more years. You know what I'm saying? Emory's here, got 2 more years left. He's been in this system for a long time, so I actually am really, really, really ready to see what's up with the quarterback room back there. But what do you think? You think Emory gets a start, or you think they should put Thurston AR-15 back
I,
in there?
I like AR better. That's my personal
Mm-hmm.
opinion. I think he gives y'all more energy and more
Mm-hmm.
athleticism and all that at the quarterback position. Emery's a great athlete himself. I just don't see Emery being that guy for y'all to push y'all to the next level. I think AR is the one.
And I could definitely see that. I hate to say it, that feels still like we're building, but it's just we're building right now. So um, that, like I said, 2 points to Bama. We almost caught the upset on that, but that was last week. The only other game from last week I do want to hit up real quick was last night. 22 Fresno State. Um, I forget who they upset. I'm supposed to have that on here. I forget who they upset. But last night they won 38-30 over UNLV. That quarterback, Jake Haener, 5 touchdowns, 378 yards to the air. And every year, as you know, we always have like that one low-key team that, nobody knew was going to be good coming into the season. Last year, Liberty. I was going to say 2 years ago, Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's still good. So I don't know. But you think this is that like sleeper, one of those sleeper teams this year that could break top 15 by the end of the year and stay there, Fresno State?
I think Liberty. You said Fresno State, right? It was
Yeah, Fresno
phone was
State.
doing.
What
Um,
was it?
my phone the phone was doing something wrong. I didn't get the last part.
Yeah,
You said Fresno State
yeah,
and
Fresno Fresno State. They remind me of like the Liberty team from last year. How they
right.
just kind of came out of nowhere on the scene and just surprised it. So I was asking, you think this Fresno State could be like that?
Liberty's quarterback is
Mm-hmm.
first round material.
That
Um,
is true.
Fresno State
But
can be.
what about this kid? What about this kid? I didn't know his name until before today, but I mean he's got them 3-0 through 3 weeks and 5 touchdowns last night.
Right. I
So
would like to see more, but
yeah.
I would Okay, so Liberty had well when they had Malik and they still have Malik, but then they had Antonio Gandy Golden as a wide receiver. He was the number one guy, so he was your big guy. We thought he was going to be great in the NFL.
Yeah.
But they had some weapons, and I like Fresno State. They had weapons also. I'm just not going to compare that right now because Liberty looks like they're putting out NFL talent like right now. So I'll give them a little bit more time. Give me some more games to see Fresno State before I make that decision on that.
Okay. Well, if Fresno State finishes top 13, 12 this year, we'll remember this conversation. But I don't know. I just think so far they look good through 3 weeks. But on to today. This is what we're here for. Like we said before the game, it doesn't feel like there's as many big time matchups this weekend. Biggest game is probably number 12 Notre Dame at number 18 Wisconsin. But first up on our list is going to be Georgia Vandy. Vandy just lost to Stanford last week. Vanderbilt's kind of always been that bottom rung SEC East team. Georgia, my take, Georgia should beat them by at least 21 to keep that number 2. Well, at least 14 to keep that number 2 spot. What do you think?
I think Georgia beats Vandy. They have the quarterback, the run game, the defense. They have everything you need. Like every year, Georgia has everything you need. We're gonna see if they can get over that hump this year. But they have a tough task with Florida and Alabama. The SEC is the SEC. But Georgia most definitely beat Vandy, and it'll be a smash mouth game, and they'll probably win by 14 points.
Yeah, I think
I like Vandy. I like Vandy. Vandy's been building because Vandy used to be just a doormat in the SEC, but they've been building a pretty good program over there.
A pretty competitive program. I will definitely agree. There we go. We got Tevin back in here. Or let me add Tevin back in. What's going on, Tev? You good? So on that Georgia game, through 3 weeks, I found this pretty interesting. Through these 3 weeks, there's basically no running game for Georgia. I think combined their top 3 guys had around 400 yards through 3 games. So I mean, just for an SEC powerhouse, and I know at least one of those games was an FCS game. Zamir White, their leading rusher, only has 159 yards through 3 weeks. So I want to see more of that from Georgia. I got to see their run game because JT Daniels is good, yes, but he's not a Heisman winner, so he's not gonna be able to do it for you yourself. They beat a Clemson team that we don't know if they're actually good or not. So I think Georgia still has a little bit left to prove.
Absolutely, and it's every year it's can Georgia get past Alabama? Can they beat Florida, or can they beat whatever the baddest team in the SEC? And it's for every year it's been what Georgia reminds me of LSU before they got Burrow. When they got Burrow, then it all came together. LSU always had running backs and receivers and defensive guys. They just never had the quarterback. Is Daniels the guy? We'll see. We'll see if he could put that season together. And he's been a pretty competent quarterback. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he can get them over the hump. I love Georgia's team, the overall team. Love the team, but do they have enough to get past Alabama, that juggernaut? And then we see what happened with Florida. They're saying we're coming. So
yeah, definitely. Tevin, can you hear us? I know you're having some troubles. Okay, just say his volume is low right now. Whenever you get back fixing there, just let me know, Tevin. And we'll jump straight to you. But we're gonna go on to this next game. Villanova at Penn State. Penn State ranked number 6 right now. Obviously I got Penn State by huge numbers. So as far as going forward, Penn State, I think they have the schedule to stay top 6 and even go top 4 if they could win out. They got Indiana at Iowa, who's ranked higher than them right now, at OSU, Ohio State, you know what I'm saying? Michigan, who played who's been playing pretty good right now. They got the number one rushing yards per game in the nation, and then at a pretty good Michigan State team towards the end of the season that could be probably ranked higher. So, do we think Penn State can do it this year? Do we think they have the and that's knocking through the Big Ten, yes, but do you think they have the willpower to get to the top four, and if they do, actually be competitive in the top four?
Yes, because they have the defense, they have the run game, they run a pro style offense with James Franklin as the coach.
I like James.
I think another question is James Franklin gonna take them over the hump and then go to USC? We've been hearing rumors about that, but the USC head coaching vacancy. So, but if I'm James Franklin, I stay at Penn State. Why would you build a program to get to that level and leave? Like stay there and win national championships. So can they compete with the Georgias and the Alabamas and the Gators if they get that opportunity? Yes.
I think so. I think the best.
Ohio
I think those
Ohio
Big Tens,
not what they used
the
to be.
best
So
big team every year it definitely has a chance to compete with the rest of the SEC. I was just gonna say that it's not Ohio State this year. I don't think I think Penn State has a way better chance than Ohio State against any of those Bama, Florida, or Georgia. So I agree with you 100%. I think with the strength of schedule who they got left, if they can knock everybody out, or even it's hard in the Big Ten to lose one and still make the playoffs. It's not like SEC where you can lose one and still definitely make the playoffs. But I think they got the schedule to do it for sure. But they got Villanova today at noon. Next up, probably biggest game of the day, definitely biggest game of the day. Number 12 Notre Dame versus number 18 Wisconsin. Let me get your pick on this. Could you hear me right there? Notre Dame and Wisconsin, like I said, number 12 and number 18. Biggest game for today. Let me add it back in here. There we go. For Notre Dame, Jake Cohn been great through 3 weeks, replacing Ian Book there at Notre Dame. But as far as the pick, who do you have in this game? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I get you. Notre Dame.
Wisconsin, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
You like Notre Dame today? I think today is where Wisconsin exposes them. I think today is where Wisconsin goes ahead and exposes them. If you look at Notre Dame, through their 3 games this year, there's no wins by more than 14, and that was last week. Both of the first 2 weeks were both under 7. So, and these are against unranked opponents. And Wisconsin, on the other hand, while they look 2-1, and everybody's like that's the worst looking team because they're 18, their one loss was against Penn State, and we know what we just talked about Penn State right now. So I like Wisconsin today, big time. I think Notre Dame's overrated, Wisconsin underrated. I think that'll show today. That's an early game too, so we'll find that one out soon, real soon. My upset of the day, I don't call that an upset because it's too early, so the rankings are kind of weird. But my upset of the day for sure, and I think you might agree with me on this one. I like Arkansas over A&M today. What are your thoughts on that game? Arkansas A&M. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're buffing right now. Let's see. Sorry guys about the technical difficulties right now. Philip having a little problems over here. Let me get him added back in here. There we go. Can you hear me? You can hear me? Oh man. Can you hear me? All well, just jump in whenever you can hear me, Philip. Don't feel. Oh, okay, you can hear me now. Okay, so you like Notre Dame over Wisconsin. The next game, this is the game I said I think you'll agree with me with. Arkansas versus A&M. Who you got?
This is gonna be a tough one for me. I'm gonna go Texas A&M because Arkansas's quarterback is pretty new, but I love the team. I'm gonna go Texas A&M. I love the defense, the overall running game, the weapons that Texas A&M have. But I can't go with Arkansas for some reason. I can't go with Arkansas.
I mean, you ain't really wrong. Yeah, you ain't wrong there. Arkansas is not. They don't have much standing behind them over the last few years, as far as big wins. But this is a new quarterback. This guy, the game I watched him against Texas was it? He played lights out. So I think he's just a younger guy. Against A&M, that might show. So you might be right. But I think personally, Arkansas can win this one. Like, not any team can win on any Saturday type win. But I think physically and talent-wise, they match up. I think A&M still has a little bit of their self-defined. They still have a little self-finding to do. And Arkansas is actually realizing how good they are. So the combination of both, I think, leaves for a very good game today. It's a 5-point spread favored by A&M, but I think Arkansas upset today. Philip doesn't agree with me on the upset today. So upset man did not approve. The next game was Clemson versus NC State. Sorry, guys, we're having a bunch of technical difficulties. Kevin is having slow connection, and he can't get in here. And Philip, I think, is just having mic problems. But as soon as those guys get back in here, we'll have them on. For now, though, we'll go on to Clemson versus NC State. Clemson, who has not looked good so far through 3 weeks, barely beat Georgia Tech last week. I think they get back on track this week against North Carolina State, who, bottom tier ACC over the last couple years. I know they have had some good years, but I don't think this is it. I think if Clemson can't win by 21 today, or at least 18, 17, if they can't win by that today, then I do not see them being a top 10 team much longer. They're already at number 9 now. The bad win to Georgia Tech already makes it harder for them in the long run. So look for Clemson to bounce back today. I think they really need a strong statement today to get back on track as far as being a top 10 program, and obviously Dabo has goals to make it to the Final Four. That's every year. So look for them to get back on track today. Next up, Iowa State's at Baylor. Iowa State number 14 should breeze through Baylor. Rutgers and Michigan. I think this game is a pretty good one. This is one of my highlighted games. Just because Rutgers, who actually just came in, I didn't know this. Rutgers only been in the Big Ten since 2014. But that year when they did join the Big Ten, they beat Michigan and have not beat them since. But this year also we have a 3-0 Rutgers and not surprising, but a 3-0 Michigan team who is actually leading the country in rush yards per game. Michigan is. So this new look Michigan offense, running offense, is working for them right now. McNamara, the freshman for Michigan, who was kind of a standout towards the end of last season, he took over for Milton. Milton went to Tennessee. Milton starting at Tennessee now, former Michigan quarterback. And I think he has a lot of potential. I think we need to see a little bit out of him. I don't know if you're going to be able to get 350 yards rushing, which is what they average a game. Every game, that's what they average right now through 3 weeks. So I don't think you can depend on that. I mean, it's definitely a good flashy number. It's definitely good, to back up your team with. But you do have a minus 20.5 spread against an undefeated, impressive Rutgers team. Michigan wins today. Michigan wins today for sure. But I think that spread is definitely definitely covered by Rutgers. Michigan has been dealing with this Big Ten drought. I think this is the longest Big Ten drought championship they went through if they do not win one this year. So Michigan definitely has a chip on their shoulder. But Michigan wins today, a close one versus Rutgers. Don't be surprised if ESPN's telling us that's a nail biter late in the third or fourth. Auburn got Georgia State. FCS, I don't know if it's FCS, but not very. I think number 24 UCLA, who has Stanford today. Stanford's already beat USC. Stanford's always great in the Pac-12. They always play good in the Pac-12, no matter how bad they are actually as a team, which they're not that bad this year. They beat Vandy last week in the Battle of the Brains, but also SEC school. So I think Stanford knocks the overrated UCLA Bruins out of the top 25. They're at 24 right now. And the win over LSU for UCLA just shows us how bad LSU is this year in comparison to former years, and that UCLA just had a really good game, which definitely happens. But I think they go ahead and get out of the top 25 this week, leaving, I'm pretty sure, only one Pac-12 team in the top 25. Florida and Tennessee tonight. Florida State at number 11 after the loss to Alabama. But it's hard. I mean, how do you lose by 2 points to the number one team? It's hard to really move anybody down. And there wasn't much action in between the top 10 teams, so there wasn't a lot of movement there. So it does keep Florida right outside the top 10. But against Tennessee, you guys just played one of the best games of your life. And I know Mullen and all the other coaches sat down and showed them exactly where they went wrong, because that game actually came down to probably a handful of plays that if they would have went differently, could have won that game. So they're going to be focused on that. Those tiny mistakes, those missed tackles we were having early on, those bad pass interferences you really can't help. But it's just the little stuff I think that we'll see shore up today. And I think Florida comes out with a convincing 17-plus point victory today over Tennessee. Next is quiet number 20, Michigan State. Michigan State hasn't been, top 20 material in a while. But today against Nebraska, I think they can improve their resume and just keep climbing up the pole. MSU could be a sleeper top 10 this year towards the end of the season. I was talking to Philip about earlier, talking about Penn State's strength of schedule. That's their last game. It's Michigan State versus Penn State. So, yes, Michigan comes in at number 13-12 last week of the regular season and beats like a number 6 or lower, I should say, Penn State team. That definitely makes them a top 10 team by the end of this year, which is something we haven't seen from Michigan State in a few years. So they have the chance today to do that. Peyton Thorne, their quarterback, has actually thrown 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions through 3 weeks, which is literally 3 touchdowns a game and no picks. I don't know about you, but that sounds literally like, a coach's dream at quarterback. So we'll see if he can keep continuing and bring them into shape and bring them in the top 10 team form, basically. Kenneth Walker, also the running back, 500 rushing yards through 3 games. That is more than Georgia's entire 3 running backs combined. So this MSU team doesn't get a lot of hype, but definitely a team to watch going throughout the rest of this year. Kentucky, South Carolina, it's a good SEC game today. Like Philip was talking about earlier, the measurement sticks, we don't know exactly who's where yet. Kentucky and South Carolina are always, about the same as far as talent-wise. And I would say recently South Carolina's had a little bit better coaching, but they're on that same level playing. So that'll be a good game to watch for SEC fans and Bama, Georgia, Florida fans to let you know, kind of gauge where, this Kentucky game, how that's going to be played and how that South Carolina game is going to be played. Alabama takes on Southern Miss. We talked about this earlier. I don't know how they get 3 FCS teams. I think it's only 2. I'm exaggerating. But 2 FCS teams, I don't even know why they're on your schedule whatsoever. Upset alert, number 2 today, West Virginia at Oklahoma. West Virginia only has 1 loss. It was a 6-point loss to Maryland, as well as an upset over number 15 ranked Virginia Tech, which was a little overranked for them. But they do upset them. OU's favored -17 in this game after only beating Tulane and Nebraska by 1 possession. And their week 2 FCS matchup, yes, 76-0. Good. That's what we expect to see. But as FCS team, your 2 unranked FBS teams, like I said, Tulane was a 7-point game, and Nebraska, I think, was either a 6 or 7-point game. So they've not looked impressive enough, I think, to just throw it 4A and -17 favorite against West Virginia. West Virginia bettors, I definitely think they cover the spread today. If not, possibly upset Oklahoma. Number 10, Ohio State has Akron, Little Ohio battle. That keeps them at 10, I think, unless some action goes on in the top 10 and they move up. Number 21, North Carolina plays Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech played really good against Clemson this last week. But I think that's a little bit more of Clemson having problems than it is Georgia Tech, just outplaying them and out-talenting them, which we know probably isn't the case. BYU's taking on South Florida. BYU's look real strong through 3 games. Hopefully this will be another, sorry, South Florida, but another get ready game, another tune-up game is what I was looking for. So maybe this will be another game for that for them. Hopefully that one shouldn't be close. They should win by at least 21. Oregon and Arizona, we got a little interconference matchup with number 3 Oregon. We haven't seen Oregon this high in a while, but I think they take home the dub today at home against Arizona, who Arizona looks pretty good, but Oregon looks pretty damn good. I don't know the injury status of Kayvon Thibodeau, but when he's healthy, they're definitely a top 4, top 5 team in the nation throughout this year. I think they will stick up there. Let's see if they can. They should win by a convincing margin today as well. I think that's really what today is. Outside of Wisconsin, Notre Dame, I think a lot of this is going to help determine these rankings a little bit better, because now we're starting conference play. Now we're starting annual scheduled games. Those first couple games, those get changed around throughout the season. And certain people sign contracts and play a team for 2 years, and they don't for 2 years. So I know around week 3, 4, 5, that's when you start getting into your regular schedules, and this is when you're playing teams that you play every year. So this will be, like Philip said, a very good measurement stick for the league. And I think we'll get a little bit clearer rankings after all this week. I still don't know what happened to my my co-host. Kevin was dealing with flag football today, so I knew he wouldn't possibly be there all day. Philip was having some technical difficulties there at the end, but I thank them for being here. I thank them for dedicating their Saturday mornings to this for me. I thank you guys for watching, and don't forget, every 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, streaming on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to try to get Twitter in there next week. But this is Blake Gardner with the Blitz College Football Morning Show. We're out. Go Gators. Never forget us. Always go Gators. Y'all have a good day.